Metal Sonic. What's going on, bro? What's happened to you? Metal Sonic is Sonic the Hedgehog's robotic doppelganger, and he is said to be the world's greatest badnik created by Dr. Eggman. A lot of Sonic fans have just not really been feeling the love for this character over the last couple of years. Here's the thing though, we're kind of running out of time. Sonic Movie 4 drops in 2027, and Metal Sonic is obviously going to be a huge focus for this film. A lot of people are going to get reintroduced into the character, so we gotta make sure that we get his character right before then. We did some focus and rehabilitation on Shadow the Hedgehog, so if they were able to do that, then I feel like they can do anything. Still got some ways to go, but obviously there's a lot of discourse right now surrounding Metal. Not the movie version of the character, but the actual Metal Sonic, the one that appears in the canon universe of Sonic the Hedgehog. And speaking of the canon universe, you know, we don't really get to see Metal that much. He did have his chance to shine in Sonic Heroes, but that was a long time ago. The only time we really see him now in the main story or main continuity is the IDW comics, because those are confirmed to be canon to the game universe, whether people like it or not. That's really up for them to determine, but it is the cause for a lot of the conversation that surrounds him. So what you're looking at here is the cause for the drama, DC X Sonic the Hedgehog issue 4. Now, to keep in mind, these comics are not canon, but they are written by the people that contribute to the actual canon of the series. So you would expect the characterizations to be somewhat in line with how the characters are supposed to behave in actual canon material. So here is the infamous panel that everybody has been talking about. In this panel, Metal Sonic goes up against Batman. Now listen, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert here. I've seen a couple of the Batman movies, so I have a very limited understanding of exactly how his powers work. But as far as I'm aware, like, he's just like a guy in a bat suit. He's not necessarily like a superhero in the sense that he has like superpowers. I mean, technically he has been able to go up against Superman, although he was wearing like an advanced suit. So I don't know how this stuff works, guys. But as you see in the panel right here, he's not wearing any crazy super suit or anything like that. And he just goes straight up against Metal Sonic, and he disposes of Metal with ease, and then also takes the Chaos Emerald away from him. Now I get it, Batman is a main character, so he should have some of that plot armor, and Metal Sonic is more of a side character, but with how fast Batman was able to defeat Metal, a lot of Sonic fans are saying that Metal Sonic is officially on fraud watch. This isn't the first time we've had this discussion, and it's probably not the last time. So what people are saying about Metal Sonic is that he is a jobber. And what is a jobber? It's basically the eternal loser. It's someone who's set up to fail every single time. I said this the last time that there was a discussion about this, but they're essentially the Washington Generals versus the Harlem Globetrotters, which is scripted fake basketball. The Washington Wizards are scripted to lose every single time, and that's what people are basically comparing Metal Sonic to. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, he is the villain of a cartoon franchise, so obviously the villain is always supposed to lose, right? The allegations of jobber is kind of crazy because it's like he's set up to lose in a way to make everyone else look good, and he gets like basically clowned on. It's almost become like a running gag or a meme that he's gonna get defeated and almost poses no threat. That's what the allegations of jobber is. When this debate was at the forefront of the discussion, here's what Ian Flynn had to say about the situation all these years ago.
For the longest time, a lot of us have had the same complaints about Metal Sonic, that being he's just really lame now. He went from being Sonic's ultimate rival to just bad guy of the week. And that's mainly because Metal just gets beaten way too easily nowadays. This will probably come off more as a request than a question, but is it possible at all for Metal Sonic to get the same treatment? It's a shame that a character like Metal Sonic is meant to be this terrifying, overpowering menace, but ends up just feeling like the Sonic equivalent of a Koopaling. Oh.
Agree to disagree, because I feel like a lot of the critique of this that I have seen are people missing the point entirely. Like, now, one of the things is Metal Sonic had this mystique of being the super cool rival to Sonic because he wasn't around. So to have him return to the games with Heroes and become a reoccurring threat was a continental shift for the old fan base. And now he's very prevalent. The thing is, with him around, that mystique's going to wear off. He is the bad guy. He exists to be beaten. And the more that he's around, the more he's going to be beaten. And that is just the nature of the beast. He has to be overcome by Sonic. And in his appearances, thus far, Sonic's the only one who's really been able to directly tangle with him. I know one that's come up a lot is the Surge and Metal Sonic fight. Metal Sonic got jobbed. No, he didn't. He went up against a person who was built from the ground up to go toe-to-toe with Sonic. And she still only came out on top because she teamed up with Kit, and Kit ambushed Metal Sonic. And they got in a cheap win. Yeah, Metal Sonic went down, But that's not the point. He nearly killed Surge. He had domination of that fight, despite the fact that Surge was built to be able to go toe-to-toe with him. Yes, Metal Sonic lost, but to say that that's all there is to that fight is to ignore everything else. We could have Metal Sonic do more against other characters, I suppose, to show that Sonic is one of the select few that can hold their own. But to say that in general that Metal Sonic has not been treated as a threat, I don't buy it. He is always something that has to be taken seriously, and there always has to be a concentrated effort to subvert or defeat or delay or whatever. He can't just be brushed off. He is a threat.
Yeah, what I think he's saying definitely makes sense. I mean, if you look at Metal Sonic's first appearance in Sonic CD, he's certainly a threat. In Sonic Heroes, he's literally the threat. This was my first ever Sonic game, so seeing Metal Sonic in this capacity, I was like, wow, he's more dangerous than Eggman could ever be in a lot of ways, right? Like seeing the Metal Overlord, it took 12 different Sonic characters to take him down, including Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, like 3 of the most powerful characters. And it also took Super Sonic as well as 2 others to take him down. And I feel like it's pretty obvious to say this, but excluding the OVA, like we're just talking about strictly canon material, Sonic Heroes is the game that gives us a glimpse inside of Metal Sonic's mind. Like he actually thinks he's Sonic, or maybe he doesn't deep down inside, but regardless, that's the driving factor within him that causes his burning hatred for Sonic, and truly it is his life goal to destroy him one way or the other. Sonic 4 Episode 2, we go up against Metal Sonic again, and yeah, he kind of gets taken out pretty easily. But yeah, as a villain, I feel like you don't really see him that much. I mean, yeah, he has some appearances, like he's in the Rivals games. He does a similar Heroes arc in Sonic Freeriders and is ultimately defeated by Sonic, but hey, I mean, that's Sonic the Hedgehog. He loses to Classic Sonic in Sonic Generations. He appears in Sonic Mania and Forces, although I think it's just the Phantom Ruby version. But as like a true main threat, you don't really actually see him until the IDW Comics Battle for Angel Island arc. And I gotta say, I think in this arc, they definitely put some respect on his name. It once again takes even more characters than it did in Sonic Heroes to be able to take him out. So I think Metal Sonic certainly still is a threat. In one of the IDW issues, he's able to toss Silver, so I mean, that proves he's a formidable threat. In issue 30 of IDW, he goes toe-to-toe with Shadow. Although it's kind of a stalemate and he runs away at the end, he definitely holds his own. The big thing that everybody hated about Metal Sonic was when he lost that 1v1 versus Surge. But obviously, like Ian Flynn stated before, there's definitely some context that proves why this happened. He was winning the fight the entire time against Surge, who was supposed to be Sonic's equal, and then he was ambushed, so it kind of makes sense. There is one thing that does kind of stand out though, and that is the fact that the Metal Overlord, which is Metal Sonic copying the data of 12 other characters, was soundly defeated by Shadow the Hedgehog. Now keep in mind, Shadow had his Doom powers activated, which gives him some type of advantage, and he also had a Chaos Emerald, so maybe there's a little bit of power scaling at play. And also, Shadow is Sonic's equal. He's the ultimate life form, so he has that going for him. But that is certainly a big L for Metal Sonic. I don't know how much the Doom powers scale up Shadow, but that's something definitely to take into account. But nonetheless, it's still an L, and it does kind of look a little bad for Metal Sonic. So when you look at the Batman IDW arc, when you see Metal Sonic losing to Batman's motorcycle, you can kind of see why people say that Metal Sonic has devolved into a jobber, and we need to get this guy back to where he was. I guess in some sense, you could say he's a little bit underutilized in terms of his powers, so maybe in the actual video games, we could see Metal Sonic return as an actual villain, as an actual threat. I'd love to see Metal Sonic maybe in the next mainline Sonic game in 3D. But let me know what you guys think about this situation. Do you think Metal Sonic should have lost to Batman?